Here's the plan for the next, I'm hoping 30 minutes, maybe 40. The plan here is I've got a little bit of an agenda I want to run through to teach you some different ways of thinking about protein. I hope that you'll leave this conversation thinking differently about protein, thinking a little more intelligently about protein with some actionable, not only ideas, but steps you can take to do better at getting enough protein to support your body for whatever your health goals are. You might have a weight loss goal. You might have an aging or longevity goal. You might want to support your body. You might want to arrive at old age a little more healthy, a little more robust than maybe you saw your mom or dad do. You might have lots of really cool goals. And you know what? You might want to look great in a swimsuit. You might want to look better in pictures. You might want to fit in all your clothes. You can have goals that are image-oriented, extrinsic. You can have whatever goal you want. And I think eating more protein, eating enough protein is a really crucial factor to help you achieve your goals. And I want you to understand protein a little more than maybe you do now. And I would like to speak to this topic in a way that I think much of the wellness industry isn't. Hopefully you will learn some interesting stuff here about protein, and I want to give you some actionable takeaways that you can put into place right away to start feeling better and start to feel the benefits of eating what I consider to be the species appropriate diet for a human, which does include a fair amount of protein. So I hope you'll stay with me. I have talking points jotted down here. They're not organized well, so we're just going to roll with it and see how it goes. And I'm just going to talk. Let's talk about everything I think you need to know about protein, how to get more, and why. So you do need to eat more protein. Let's just put that out there. Chances are, if you're watching this, you are a woman of a certain age. And I just say that because I'm a woman of a certain age and I work with women of a certain age. And so I have this audience of women of a certain age, and we are not eating enough protein. We are barely eating any protein. I'm not even kidding you. If this sounds familiar, okay, in the morning, I have my coffee and then maybe I'll put some collagen in, or I'll have a little prime protein shake from Costco on the way to work. And then at work, I have like a salad with 4 ounces of chicken. And then I come home and I try to have dinner with my family, but I serve up a smaller portion because I'm the mom and the wife. I'm not supposed to eat that much. And then I have snacks and snacks and snacks. It's a whole day of eating. It's a whole day of calories, which we are going to talk about, unfortunately, especially because I work in the weight loss space and we do have to talk about those. But it's almost no protein. In fact, on a bigger scale, there's a scarce eating pattern that women subscribe to, which is small little nibbles of things. I think this is metabolically a problem. And today I want to talk about what an incredible, important metabolic helper protein is for you. Because if you think your metabolism has slowed down or it's not working anymore, I'll tell you what, eating more substantial meals that include enough protein is the play, my friends. But think about this first, just generally speaking, just sort of forgetting about protein for a second, the female pattern of eating is these scarce little nibbles of food. And there's not enough signal there. If it's a little nibble and a little nibble, you're never sending an appropriate feeding signal. I want to pause for a second because this is a phrase I use all the time. It makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else. So I want to make sure it makes sense. I want you to think about food as signal rather than math. On your social feed, for example, you might have somebody say, oh, it's easy, just eat 30 to 40 grams of protein at every meal. And you're like, okay, I guess I have to figure out how much that is. And right out the gate, we're doing math on this. And that sucks. It's just, first of all, nobody wants to do that. I will die on this sword. Nobody wants to track their food or count it or measure it or weigh it. We don't want to do it. So if somebody says, oh, all you got to do is eat 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal, it's math you don't want to do, and it's completely invented arbitrary math. And the body doesn't run on math. Metabolically, we run on signal. So when I say signal, what I mean is the when and the what and the how much that you eat. The when and the what and the how much send in the nourishment signal into your body. You're bringing the signal in to your body, and your body is tabulating. Your body's tabulating the math because you have an internal portion control system. This is all done internally. Your body simply cues up to you a signal of hunger. You respond with the signal of food, and the body does the math on that food for you, tells you if you've done enough or if you need more. We're just eating these tiny little meager nibbles of light lady food, and we're not sending an adequate nutrient signal into our body, period. Never mind protein, which is a crucial nutrient, the most crucial from an appetite perspective. We're not sending any abundant nutrient signal. We're just sending scarcity. Snack, 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 snack all day long. When you don't send in appropriate nutrient signaling, your body's going to continue to cue up hunger, hunger, hunger. Now, you're going to feel that as cravings or as snack urges, or you're going to call yourself a sugar addict. You're going to call yourself an emotional eater or boredom eater. You're going to call yourself all kinds of names that aren't accurate. You're simply a hungry person who's not feeding herself enough. You're not feeding yourself adequately. We have to send solid, clear nutrient signals. If and when you send solid, clear nutrient signals, your body will send back to you a satiety signal, which is you're done eating now. And if you actually tap this appropriately every day, every meal, every time you eat, you will start to eat less and you will lose weight. I want to talk about how protein helps us do this and how protein is an amazing metabolic helper. But first, I want to start by saying women have to get better at sending in food signal. And no macro coach or calorie coach or personal trainer can tell you what you need to send in, or nutritionist for that matter. I can't tell you what you need to eat, how much of it you need to eat to send the appropriate signal. You have to just do the thing. You have to eat the feast. You have to feast on the food, get to the point where your body says, good job, you did it. And my hunch is most women have spent decades of life never getting to that appropriate nutrient signaling point. Now, we have to talk about this first because when we talk about protein, protein is the nutrient leverage point for appetite signaling. So before we can talk about why you need to eat more protein and how to do it, we have to talk first about appetite signaling and how women are missing the mark on this generally. And you don't have to count any of this food. In fact, counting it to me is counterintuitive. If somebody says, eat this much of that, here's your meal plan, here's your macro breakdown, you're going to follow that blindly, but you're still not sending in the appropriate signal. The thing with signals is a signal is sent and received and sent and received. You got to play in the space of sending and receiving signal rather than just obediently following math that somebody gave you. That's not how we're meant to engage with food. It's not working. I want you to tap into signal. So when I say signal, not math, I hope that makes sense. And just to repeat myself, again, women are not eating enough at meal times to send in an appropriate feeding signal, and we're certainly not eating enough protein. So we've addressed the fact that women have a demure eating pattern. I call it a demure eating pattern. It's adorable little nibbles of things. When you've been told to eat more protein, you probably did it by consuming more freaking dairy. You probably said, okay, more yogurt, more cottage cheese. How can I blend yogurt and cottage cheese and whey protein powder and put it in my Ninja Creamy and make ice cream so I can have protein ice cream and get more protein? I really am going to make the case here today, folks, for eating protein food, the actual food sources of protein that your body, your palate, and your metabolism are waiting for, instead of just simply packing down little adorable, beautiful snackies of protein. Eating protein is not unladylike. It is incredibly human. And I want you to start thinking about eating it in food form, not ice cream or waffles or candy bar or milkshake. That's what I think of when I see women either eating cottage cheese and yogurt, so diet food. Like, I'm sorry, but in the 80s, when my mom went on a diet, it was yogurt or cottage cheese, whichever dairy was in style at the moment, and grapefruit. That's how I knew my mom was on a diet. If there was suddenly yogurt or cottage cheese in the fridge, mom was on a diet. It was a diet food. So women will either eat cottage cheese and yogurt, or they'll leapfrog over food and just land on bodybuilder supplements, protein shakes, protein bars, protein pancakes, whey protein powder stirred into the yogurt. There's a whole world of protein food that we are missing, and this is where I want to focus today's conversation. Once again, you're not going to get math from me. I refuse to give you grams of protein, ounces of chicken. No, hell no. But you're skipping the biggest opportunity to send the appropriate signal by skipping over food. And I think the reason why we don't eat this food that's in the middle, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, is because it's not ladylike. It's too heavy. Or I don't like eating meat. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You're a biological human. You're a meat eating animal. If you've trained yourself to not like eating meat, that's through diet programming. Ladies eat yogurt. Ladies eat protein shakes. Humans eat meat. If you're plant-based, it's all good. If you're plant-based and you don't want to eat meat for other reasons, ethical reasons, totally fine. There are still plant-based sources of protein. They're not my favorite. I don't think they're as good. I really will be centering this conversation around our biological need for protein and meat because I geek out on that. I think it's very, very interesting. I'm going to try to keep it interesting for you. But when I refer to eating meat, this actual nourishing protein food that lives in between dairy and supplements, I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about the kind of protein you're eating, the signal of meat, fish, eggs, poultry. The signal of that is so different than the signal of pudding and pancakes and whatever little yogurt concoction. It's just this demure pattern of eating that is ladylike, and it's not working. It's not working. So some personal trainer on Instagram tells you to eat more protein and you're like, well, I guess I'll eat more cottage cheese then. Try chicken, try eggs, try eating protein food that has a full matrix of nutrition. This is one of the action items I want you to try. The next time you go to add another scoop of cottage cheese into your pancake batter or whatever, instead of doing that, go fry up some eggs. First of all, it's faster than making pancakes. Secondly, it's a more appropriate signal than drinking a milkshake or eating a pancake to get your protein. Think about it. Think about the signal of meat and eggs versus the signal of pancakes and milkshakes. Very different signal. Your palate in your mouth, your taste buds, is one of your nutrient sensing organs. It's not really an organ, but it's one of the nutrient sensing components of your body. And when you're drinking a chocolate protein shake or eating a pancake, your palate is very confused by that as a protein signal. It's like, okay, well, I guess. It's just not enough. Like, we need to eat more substantial meals. Okay, but here, can I tell you why? So we started with, first of all, you're not eating enough and not eating it in the right sort of way to encourage this appropriate nutrient signal. I'm not saying that to disparage you. I just want you to think differently about how you consume food. So we have that. But now I want to talk to you about why this will be so powerfully helpful for you. Because protein is an amazing metabolic helper. How does protein help us metabolically? So first of all, metabolically, what am I talking about? I'm talking about your body's fueling system. Metabolism is the system of the body that partitions nutrients around. Nutrients could be fuel, carbohydrate, fat. It could be vitamins and minerals. It could be fiber. It could be hydration. Like, metabolism is this nutrient partitioning system. It takes the nutrients from your food and puts it where it needs to go in your body. Very cool system of the body. We are probably thinking a lot about fat loss. That's something that we really care about. That's what I do. I do fat loss for women. And I'm calling it fat loss because I don't care how much you weigh, and neither should you. Fat loss is I would like to get the fat that's stuck on my body moving so I can fit back into all my clothes and feel confident in my skin. And maybe take the pictures again because I've been skipping out on pictures. Maybe go on the vacation again and wear my bikini and not give a damn. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Just stepping back into your life, walking away from dumb dieting, coming back home to your body. That's fat loss. And also, by the way, behaviorally, walking away, turning your back on dumb dieting and coming home to your body is everything that I stand for. So you can ignore the math of calories and macros, come into the nutrient signaling of your body, and use protein to leverage this, and you get so many metabolic benefits that'll make your head spin. Number one, eating adequate protein. Adequate. Remember, women are not eating enough. Eating adequate protein, sending an adequate protein signal consistently into your body helps to preserve your lean body mass. Lean body mass is a bro term that gals typically kind of don't care that much about, although we're starting to care more because maybe we're seeing our aging parents losing their lean body mass. Maybe you have a dad who's very frail or a mom who's very squishy, skinny fat, and you're seeing the frailty play out before your very eyes. Their bones, their muscles, their joints, they're not moving well. Maybe you're seeing that, and I know that's not sexy, but it's scary. I see it in my dad, very scary. Every time I visit my dad and look at his legs, I think to myself, got to do more squats. Definitely going to go crush some leg press because I don't want to lose my thick, meaty quads. I want those until forever. You know, I think a lot about the psychosocial programming we come through because I came up through the 90s where I wanted skinny thighs. Like, I coveted my dad's scrawny thighs when I was 20. But now that I'm almost 50, it's like, oh, that's not good. So I know lean body mass is this sort of like bro-y type of thing, but here's what I want to share with you, which is that lean body mass is very metabolically active. Very, very metabolically active. Muscle and bone, all these heavy, dense tissues in and on our body. This shit's heavy on the scale, just so you know. If you have good lean body mass, if your bones are healthy and your muscles are healthy, you're heavy. So we have to get away from the scale. If you're healthy, you're heavy. Okay, I don't know. Don't take that to the bank because that's not a perfect statement either. But I think women, a lot of times, we want to be tiny. We want to be kind of a little delicate, but we can't. We just can't. But metabolically, from a fat loss perspective, lean body mass is very metabolically active. Now, women get into like the stage of life, midlife, 50s, 60s, whatever, and they say my metabolism slowed down so much after I went through menopause in my mid 40s, whatever, my metabolism slowed down. No, it didn't. It doesn't slow down. Metabolism does not slow down. There's a leading metabolic researcher, Herman Ponzer, who researched the shit out of this. Our metabolic rate does not slow down until our 70s, and then it slows down by a couple hundred calories a day. The reason why it feels like your metabolism slowed down is because you've been losing lean body mass. You've been losing this metabolically active tissue. So at the very least, protein is an amazing metabolic helper because it helps to preserve your lean body mass, bone and muscle, so you can retain a healthy metabolic rate, which is your birthright until you freaking die. Sorry to talk about death. That feeling of a slow metabolism is just a body that's becoming weaker and smaller and less. You need a substantial body to increase the demand for energy, and then you'll burn through stored energy better. Okay. That's one way protein is a great metabolic helper, preserving and building your lean body mass. The other way that protein is an amazing metabolic helper is in promoting satiety, fullness. Protein keeps you fuller longer is a statement you might have heard somebody say, and that's not untrue, but it's also it stops a little short of explaining what's happening there. When you're consuming adequate protein, sending that adequate nutrient signal back into your body, adequate. Finally, for the first time in your life, you're adequately nourishing yourself. Your body says, great, thanks. Remember, you have an internal portion control system. You have an internal tabulation system. So again, your macro coach has no idea how much food you need to eat. Your personal trainer has no idea what your macros or calories should be. No idea. They're inventing that math. Your body knows exactly what you need. If you just step up to the plate and start feeding your body appropriately to your satiety point, feeding all the way to doneness, to fullness, your body will say, great job, thank you, and will not cue up hunger again for a while. And by hunger, I mean the urge to eat, the urge to snack, the urge to nibble. It's gone. It has a similar effect to GLP-1 medications in reducing food noise and cravings, quite honestly. An adequate protein diet, really great for eliminating food noise. Because food noise is hunger. Of course there's food noise. Your body's like, yo, can you freaking nourish me for once? Of course that's noisy. That's very biologically noisy. When you're fed, it's quiet. It's so quiet. And if it's quiet, then you're not in the pantry every 5 minutes. You're not rifling through the fridge looking for something to nibble on. You're just living your life. And by reducing snacking and munching, caloric intake comes in lower. So this is where I think we get a little confused or scared. Like you might look at a plate full of eggs and say, oh my gosh, this is such a high calorie meal. It actually nets out at lower calories because you didn't snack on munchies all day long or little nibbles of unsatiating food with poor signal. Protein gets you fed and moves you on. So you're not snacking and snacking. A high protein diet ends up being a low calorie diet because a high protein diet is a high satiety diet. A high protein diet is a low snacking diet. A low snacking diet is a lower calorie diet because the things you snack on aren't nourishing. They're just crunchy nibbles, little sips and slurps of this and that. You're never sending adequate nutrient signaling. Your body's always wanting for more. Please give me more. Just give your body more at meal times. This is one of the actions I have for you. Protein is nearly impossible to overeat. So if you don't believe me, just after this is over and you're done listening to it, go into your kitchen and scramble a dozen eggs and then start eating them and tell me how that goes. Like you're not going to overeat eggs. The eggs will tell you when to put the fork down. This is the very precise nutrient signaling of protein. The satiety signal that protein uniquely sends is, first of all, deeply programmed into our DNA. And every living creature on planet Earth eats until its protein needs are met. And this is the work of Robbenheimer and Simpson. They wrote a book called Eat Like the Animals. It's such a cute book. I can't recommend this book enough. Eat Like the Animals. I think you should get it and read it because you will love it. It's just a great book. It's not a nerdy science book. It's a very, very cute book. But these scientists they're nutritional ecologists. They study animals and their nutrient needs, basically. How and why do animals eat? That's us, we're animals. They popularized a theory called the protein leverage hypothesis, which suggests that animals, including humans, will prioritize protein intake over everything else. If the protein in the diet is diluted by carbs and fat, we will keep eating until we meet our protein target. If you can't stop eating, it's because you didn't meet your protein target. Just meet it. Just freaking meet it and move on with your life because you're wired to eat until your protein needs are met. If we have low protein and we just keep eating, we keep our protein low, we're going to keep eating and we're going to overeat calories in this low protein environment because the drive for protein is non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. It's in your DNA to meet your protein needs. So why don't you just meet it and get on with your life? And that is not a rhetorical question. Why not just eat more meat and eggs and fish and chicken? Why not? Your body's waiting for you to do it. It's been waiting for you to do it since you were a freaking egg in your mom's egg sack. It's so deeply wired into every creature on planet Earth. And Robbenheimer and Simpson, they looked at everything. They looked at bugs and fish and orangutans and humans. I have horses. Horses eat grass. That's all they eat. There's not a lot of protein in grass. Not a lot of protein. So the horses have to eat for 12 to 16 hours a day until they get their protein needs met. They have to constantly eat. Horses are wired for grazing because they're plant eaters. They eat plants. There's not a lot of protein in plants. So they have to eat a ton of plants. And they get it done. Like, I don't know if you've seen a horse, but they're jacked. They're full of muscle. They're eating till their protein needs are met. We do the same thing, but we're not grass-eating animals. We're meat and plant-eating animals. So we have, lucky us, the opportunity to consume enough protein in one go and then move on. So humans, unlike horses, are feasting animals. We feast and then we fast. And we feast and we fast. This grazing paradigm where you're trying to eat and eat and eat little nibbles, you're not meeting your protein needs. So you're just going to keep nibbling. And before you know it, you've had 200 to 300 to 400 additional calories in the day that got you nothing in terms of nutrition and are just causing you to increase body fat. And you don't have the lean body mass to fight it because you haven't been eating enough protein. You got to get more protein. Listen, I know you already know this. You're like, oh my God, another nutritionist from the internet telling us to eat more protein. I am telling you, but I want you to understand why. And I'm also going to tell you how to do it without tracking your food because I don't believe in food tracking. I will never do it again. I know you don't want to do it. So for me to say, eat X number of grams of protein per day, I don't know how many grams of protein you need to eat a day. I have no idea. I could just pluck a number out of thin air and say 118.6 and you'd be like, aye, aye, Captain. That's an invented number. Your body knows exactly how much protein you need to eat. Every creature on planet Earth has this internal tabulation system for protein. Protein is our dominant appetite. When you feel hungry, your body wants protein. It doesn't really want crunchy snacks. It doesn't really want a milkshake. It wants protein, biologically speaking. Now, from a practice perspective, we have practiced the habit of answering our hunger with ridiculous little nibbles of yogurt and crackers and cheese and like little veggies and hummus. And like, we're just nibbling and we're just not getting this job done. Like, yo, when you feel hungry, consume protein and then you'll have actually solved hunger. Because if you think about it, like in order to lose fat, you have to eat less. Yeah, I know, right? Like, old school. Calorie deficit. What? Yeah, you have to have an energy deficit to incentivize the body to liberate stored fat. The way to achieve an energy deficit is to be less hungry. That's how GLP-1 medications work. They make you less hungry, so you eat less. Guess what? Protein does the exact same thing. Protein makes you less hungry, so you eat less. Or you can track all of your food, weigh it on a scale, log it in an app, adjust the math on your calories and macros and become like a weird ass dumb calculator. Or tap into your body's natural biological need for nourishment in this feasting paradigm. I hope you're still with me because women, we eat in a way that chronically underdelivers protein, like chronically underdelivering protein. Here's a good example. When a woman says, okay, I'm going to try to eat more protein, they'll fry up 2 eggs. They'll have a couple eggs. Well, 2 eggs doesn't actually send a strong enough protein signal. It sort of kind of gets partway there. But it's like, what if you did 5 eggs? What if you did all 12 eggs and just start eating and don't stop until your body says, that's it. I go back to the signal. We are trying to pick up signal and send back signal. Do you trust your body's signals? Maybe not, but you can and you should. I want you to respect and trust your body's signals and play with it. What if I put 4 chicken thighs on my salad? I made a salad last night with chicken breast. I put 2.5, almost 3 chicken breasts on my salad. And guess what happened? I didn't eat it all. I got very, very satiated. I put the fork down. I was done eating for the whole day because I met my protein needs. You can do this and you don't have to measure any of it. Most women eat in a way that chronically underdelivers protein. Yogurt cups, protein bars, smoothie bowls, what have you. Please eat food. You're an omnivore animal that eats meat. It's not unladylike to eat meat. It's extremely human to eat meat. And meanwhile, our ladylike diets are not helping us. It's not panning out well. You've got stubborn weight that you can't lose. You're seeing glimmers of frailness in your aging parents. We're blaming all this on menopause when really, metabolically, you've not been doing your job for most of your life. That's not your fault. That's the diet programming. It's time to step up to the plate and feed yourself. I'm not a tough love person, but this is sounding very tough love. But I can't tell you how liberating it is to eat a substantial meal to your satiety point and then feel so nourished. And to have your body behave and look the way you want it to behave and look, even though you're in menopause, even though you're in your 60s, like it's possible. Humans are amazing. We're just biologically amazing. Perfect machinery. But through the programming of dieting, which is why I say it's not your fault, because you're born into it. Through the programming of dieting, we've really believed that we need to, first of all, micromanage the hell out of it. Like my body's too stupid to know how much it needs to eat. So I got to follow some kind of plan to eat the right amount so I can stay skinny. That's the other thing. We like skinniness. And when I say things like robust, feast, nourish, adequate, those are scary words because we're used to being undernourished and inadequate and scarce about food. We got to change that narrative. It's not working. So how to do this? First of all, I want you to think about protein food. If you did nothing else, over the next 3 days of eating, if you did me a favor, just do me a favor and make that not yogurt and cottage cheese. Make it eggs and meat, whatever meats you like. You can have chicken for breakfast. I promise you the breakfast police will not arrest you. You don't have to have bacon and eggs. If you get sick of eggs, have steak. If you don't like red meat, have chicken. If you don't like chicken, have fish. If you don't like fish, don't eat fish. Try to just eat more food. When women say, I don't really like meat, I push back. Like biologically you do. Biologically you are a meat-eating animal. You've just not been eating meat. You've been practicing slurping chocolate-flavored protein out of a straw. Your body wants you to have meat. The palate, the taste buds in your mouth are waiting for that savory taste of protein. Meat is a savory flavor, and we're getting most of our protein from yogurty, whey protein concoctions that taste like dessert. You've just short-circuited your natural sort of signaling at the palate, but you can get it back. Your body was absolutely designed perfectly. We're just going to return to this ancient wisdom, shall we say. So the first thing I'd like you to do is when you consume your protein this week, don't track any of it. Stop tracking protein. Number one, stop tracking protein. Just eat protein and try to tap into your natural appetite cues. When you feel hungry, eat protein and other things, not just protein, but have, meat and vegetables and fruit and whatever you like, but a substantial proportion of meat or eggs, and eat all the way till you feel full, till you have to put the fork down because you just don't want another bite. The feeling of satiety is a very nebulous one for women. It's something that I work on a lot with my clients is this feeling of satiety. We're not really good at feeling it, but the way I describe it is you just don't want to take another bite. It's not that you're full and your pants are tight and you have to undo your button. It's that I don't want to take another bite of this. And protein delivers that satiety signal at the mouth. Other foods you can eat and eat and eat until you get full. But protein will stop you before you get full. You'll feel satiated. So put way more protein on the plate than you think you can possibly eat. I go back to my metaphorical dozen egg omelet. Put 12 damn eggs in that omelet. What's the worst case scenario? You got leftovers. Great. Feed it to the dog, put it in the fridge. I don't know. Try to find your natural satiety point by eating protein food, not dairy exclusively. You can have dairy. I'm not mad at dairy. I just hate it as the sole protein source because of the creamy, puddingy texture. Like chew. The chewing signal at the jaw, your teeth chewing, it's all part of the nutrient signaling system. Do you know how completely elegant and amazing your body is? At the mouth, your palate senses the savory flavor of meat, and then the action of chewing it sends a signal. Oh, we're gnawing on meat. When you're slurping yogurt off the spoon, you're not getting either of those signals. We got to play to signal. The trade-off is if you learn to play with a signal, you never have to think about the math again, baby. So number 1, eat protein food. Number 2, try to find your natural satiety point. Eat to fullness. And the third thing I want to give you as an action is do this at breakfast time. Your first meal of the day, I don't care when it is, make this protein dominant meal of protein food, eggs, meat, fish, poultry. Make a huge plate of food and eat it until your body tells you to put the fork down. That is a signal back from your body. The body says, thanks, you did it. Do you know that if you do this often enough, if you send an abundant enough fuel signal, because by the way, the word satiety means enough. If you nourish your body enough, finally, after decades of undernourishing yourself, this sends such a safe signal to your brain. You're going to feel safer. You're going to feel more peace in your whole nervous system. And you'll stop snacking, and you'll start to lose fat, and you'll preserve your lean body mass, which is a metabolically active tissue. So now you'll be, quote unquote, burning fat. It's a phrase I really hate, but you're just a more robust, strong, badass, resilient human because you returned to the ancient wisdom of your nutrient signaling system. Woo! I love that I geek out on that. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but like, holy moly, what an amazing technology we were given here at birth, this body of ours. It's amazing. It's freaking perfect. It would blow your mind the things your body knows how to do, but we've been lobotomized from trusting our body. Now we need a coach to tell us how much of what to eat, which is crazy. I'm so not into that. Hell no. How does any online Instagram nutrition coach supposed to know what your nutrient needs are? And by the way, you've been chronically undernourished for years and decades. You have a hole you have to fill. You got to backfill the hole. When women actually feed themselves, they feel calmer. They feel a sense of peace they've never felt psychologically. Sending an abundant signal every single morning at breakfast time back into your body is an amazing nervous system supporting action, which you need because life is freaking hard and stressful. So at the very least, abundantly nourish yourself. Just do yourself that favor. The reason I suggest doing it at breakfast is because just easier. The day hasn't gotten away from you. So get up and whip up some eggs or eat leftovers from dinner the night before because you probably cooked meat for dinner the night before. Heat it up, have some leftovers for breakfast in the morning. And there's a circadian rhythm perspective to this as well. In the morning, our body is primed to take up the nutrients that we need. So basically, your body knows the sun rose and it's like, oh, another day. And it's tabulating all your nutrient needs for the day ahead of you. This is circadian rhythm stuff. So if you put down a bolus of protein in the morning, your body's going to say, hell yeah, thank you, nicely done. And it's going to start packaging, nutrient partitioning all those amino acids away, building up your body, preserving your lean body mass, muscle, bone, organs, tissues in your body. All the fiber from your vegetables and fruit are going to go and do fiber things, and the hydration is going to go do hydration things. The minerals and the vitamins are going to go do vitamin mineral things. Like your body's going to be busy putting that very nourishing feast to work. In the early part of the day, the body is ready to put nourishment to work. Most women are having collagen coffee for breakfast, salad with chicken for lunch, and then they're having a proper meal at dinner. Their first meal of the day is at night. Just put that in the front of the day. Get it handled, and you're going to notice the whole rest of the day, your snack urges are gone. So you'll eat fewer calories, which will help you lose weight, but you're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel supported, and you are supporting your body in the way it's meant to be supported. So takeaways from this talk: you don't have to track your protein. You don't have to measure it. You don't have to aim for a certain target. Don't worry about it. Your body knows how much you need. What you have to get better at is picking up the signal and answering the signal. And your body will tell you when you need more or less, when to start eating, when to stop eating. Nobody can tell you how many grams of protein you need to eat. Nobody knows except your body. So practice eating protein foods, predominantly at breakfast, just because it's easier. Practice getting to your natural satiety point and feel that durability of satiety that you get from a protein-oriented menu, which is every single animal on planet Earth eats until their protein needs are met, including you. Experience what that feels like. Feel the calmness of not chasing hunger and snack urges and cravings all day, and watch how you just start eating less and the food noise goes away because you're finally adequately nourished. You don't have to count your protein ever again, but you do damn well have to eat it, gal pals.